Hello everybody and welcome to another Beyblade video. I'm Citrus Ninja Gaming, and this time I have a tournament training deck format guide. So, this is the second time I'm trying to make this video because the first time it was terrible. And I just had it all in one go. It was like 18 minutes of just me talking and not even cutting when I made mistakes in my sentences. It was just a pile of doo-doo. So yeah, this time I'll make it a little bit better. So, there are a few things I want to go over. Like, I'll go over what the deck format is, and then I'll start talking about how to build your deck specifically. Okay, first things first, what is the deck format? The deck format is the battle style or battle format that is used during the final stage of a tournament. So once you've gone through the first stage, usually around 8 people, sometimes 16, depends on how big the tournament is, there will be people going to the final round. So, the deck format is a way to show that the people that are in the finals actually deserve to be in the finals. Not just from choosing a random combo that you think can beat everything, but also making decisions based on what you see your opponent having and using. So, it's a very strategic style, and I really like the deck format more than the single Beyblade battles. So, deck format battles last 5 points, because that way, like, there aren't that many people in the finals, so you can take your time. Also, like, you can use, there's a higher chance that you can use all of your Beyblades. And also, it's more strategic that way. Maybe you don't know how well your combo will do against your opponent's combo, and then you screwed up, and then, yeah, you have a few more chances to not screw up. So, in the deck format, a spin finish is 1 point. A KO is actually 2 points instead of 1. And then a burst is 2 points as well. So, it's also helping to push attack types in the metagame more, because people don't usually use attack types, and they sometimes there can be some strategy behind using them in a deck format battle. So then also, you can't use 2 of the same part in one deck. So next, you're in a deck format battle, and let's say it was Orb Aegis, Zero Cross Extend Plus, this is your opponent's Bay, and let's say Hell Salamander Blitz Orbit Metal is your combo. Obviously, if you know a lot about Beyblade, you know that this thing is going to lose by spin finish, most likely. So then, if you lose the point, you actually get to choose whether you want a rematch or no rematch. A rematch is just, you stay with both bladers have to keep their Beyblades in, just launch the same Beyblade, and it doesn't cancel out the points. It's not like, oh yeah, 1-0, No, I call rematch. Now it's 0-0. No, it stays 1-0. If you call no rematch, then the winner of the round, which in this case would be your opponent, gets to choose if they want to switch or if they want to stay. So in this case, let's just say they wanted to switch into, I don't know, how about we switch into this, right? So this is Zoe Bahamut Sting Extreme Dash Metsu. So that could be a pretty big threat for your salamander. So you're like, yeah, you know what, I actually want to switch into Orb Aegis 00 Star Keep. Pretty defensive combo. Your opponent has to practice a lot with Extreme Dash to actually be able to knock this thing out, especially when it's worn down. So then, let's say you win the next point. They get to choose rematch or no rematch. Let's just say they don't want a rematch. So then you switch. You're like, oh yeah, they're gonna want to go for a risky play here. You're like, oh yeah, Lord Spriggan 0 wall hold dash. And then they're like, yeah, you know what, I want to stay. So then that's totally fine. So then they might actually just win the battle like that. So the swapping rules make it so that the loser of the round can make a comeback. And it's actually really balanced. But if you don't have anything that can beat any of your opponent's Beyblades, or at least just one of their Beyblades, then you might be like in a checkmate. Okay, so finally we get to how to build your deck. So the first thing I would recommend is trying to find a safe combo, or just a combo that you like and want to build your deck around. So this is a pretty solid combo. It's Orb Aegis 0 Cross Extend Plus, mainly used in stamina mode because attack mode is hard to control, and if we did use attack mode, then it would be optimal to use proof instead. But this is just all around better. I think one of the only reasons you'd want to use attack mode with cross is if you're going up against some atomic combo in right spin and maybe you want to try to beat it like that. But it's really hard to do. So this is a pretty safe combo. It beats Perfect Phoenix. It loses against right spin atomic, right spin orbit, orbit metal. It doesn't lose to yard, even though it's a ball shaped tip, but it's not really that good. This thing can usually outspin left spin bearing combos. It's really easy for this thing to outspin right spin bearing, and it might even just burst it, because that's how good Orb Aegis is. And also, like, what would you see on right spin bearing? Chozy Spriggan, maybe. Maybe even Lord Spriggan, but not that often. So then, it has its weaknesses, but it can beat left spin bays really easily. Maybe has a little bit of trouble against ratchet bearing and left spin, and 0 wall bearing. Not really that much against 0 wall hold dash. It's just more of an interesting combo that can beat a lot of opposite spin combos. But yeah, this is really safe to use. So if you want something to start you off, this is the combo. Now this is a different type of combo. It's not really a safe combo. It's Orb Aegis 00 Star Keep. It's more of a combo you'd like to build around. It has its strengths, like it can beat Perfect Phoenix as well, because Orb Aegis is just the perfect counter to Perfect Phoenix, at least in stamina and defense terms. So then, this can actually, because of keep, this can outspin Extend Plus. Even Orb just on Extend Plus can't outspin this sometimes. It's really hard to burst. It'll be even harder to burst when Keep Dash comes out. And it's really hard to knock out as well. Like a KO attacker like this, honestly, you need to be really good at launching with it just to KO this thing once. And yeah, I've practiced, and it's really hard. It used to be easier. But anyway, now this isn't the safest combo, but it's interesting to use different kinds of combos that your opponent wouldn't guess. Like, sure, you can go for an obvious combo, or you can go for the big brain plays and go for something that not a lot of people see every day. So then they try to use Zwei Bahamut, Sting, Extreme Dash, Metsu, and then they realize they're not good enough with the combo to actually to burst you or KO you. The next principle of building a good deck is matchup coverage. So as I said, both of these combos have some noticeable weaknesses. This is weak to right spin atomic and right spin orbit metal, and maybe ratchet bearing and left spin, but I'm not sure. And this thing just can't beat competitive left spin combos. At least not stamina and defense left spin combos. And there maybe sometimes atomic, orbit metal are a little bit of a hassle. But that's why you have 3 Beyblades. Instead of just focusing everything on one Beyblade, you have to try to have multiple Beyblades that cover each other's weaknesses. So in this case, we have Zwei Bahamut, Sting, Extreme Dash, Metsu, which can potentially knock out atomic and orbit metal combos, both left and right, but we're mainly thinking about right spin ones in this case. So it can knock those out because of the lower friction. And then we have this combo, which is Dread Longinus, 00 Expand Atomic Gen. This can also be changed for bearing because it's actually a pretty bulky combo with Gen. So this thing can outspin left spin bearing. So in case ratchet bearing is a problem, we have this. And if it isn't a problem, then you can always just put bearing on it, and then that way it can easily outspin left or right spin atomic. Although this is a pretty decent setup to try and beat right spin atomic. But honestly, this team has a lot of bases covered. This deck is a little bit riskier because it has keep. So then, if you have any problem with atomic or orbit metal, you can switch into left spin, Lord Spriggan, 0 wall, hold dash. This can pretty easily outspin that. This is also a good pick if you think you might get defeated by an attack combo while using this. But, I mean, if you're up against a Zwei combo, you might as well just go for this. And then this is Hell Salamander Blitz Orbit Metal. It's able to beat left spin bearing combos and extend plus combos, which are definitely a big problem for this. And also because of the metal, it's able to outspin a lot of atomic combos. If you're really scared of atomic combos and not scared of... Well, if you're really scared of left spin atomic and orbit metal, You can always change this to right spin before the match starts. Like, while you're choosing your deck, because you can't actually change directions mid-match. Or at any point after seeing your opponent's Beyblades. So, the matchup coverage, you can have different setups for these bays, but it's mostly about having a good overall advantage and disadvantage triangle. Like, this thing loses to one thing, but this thing might counter it, or this thing might counter it, and then this thing might have weaknesses that this thing counters. So then the next component of a deck is actually thinking about win conditions. So remember at the beginning of the video I said when you outspin your opponent you get 1 point, you knock them out you get 2 points, you burst them you get 2 points. So at most you have to win 5 rounds to beat your opponent. Some people just go for a full stamina and defense team, which is understandable because they're pretty consistent. But sometimes you might want to go for something riskier, like Zoe Bahamut, Sting, Extreme Dash, Metsu. This combo it has high risk, high reward, so if you put it up against some KO defense combo, then you're going to be kind of screwed, but you might be able to just switch into something that can counter that next point. If you really want to get a KO, or if you want to get a burst by using Lord Spriggan on Octa in right spin mode, like Zero Bump Octa or Blitz Octa, like, I wouldn't hold that against you. It's actually, not only does it make the battles more entertaining, but it can add more suspense, because you might actually get rewarded for going for a riskier play. But usually people like to go for stamina defense combos. Of course, I like this combo, so works out. And then you have to have a combo to counter the opponent if you think that they're going for those 2 points, because you never know. Someone might actually just be trying to burst you with every single Beyblade they have. And if you have a counter for that, then you're set. So this next part is something that I've kind of been hinting to. Well, actually not really been hinting to with this combo. It's skill. If you think you don't have a lot of practice with a combo, which this combo specifically needs a lot of practice to pull off correctly, because you can't just flat launch your Zoe Bahamut Sting Extreme Dash Metsu and expect to beat this combo. You have to actually tilt the launcher a specific angle, and I've seen other people try to go into a tournament with an Extreme Dash combo but not knowing how to use it, and then they just either self-KO or just get humiliated by their opponent just outspinning them constantly. Ardmore Bladers is a really good blader. He likes using defense and stamina combos, but during one of the tournaments that I saw him at, he was using Dead Hades 10-star Extreme Dash. He just kept mislaunching into the pocket. So I guess he just didn't have enough practice, and he was trying out some attack combos there. Well, actually, I think that was one of the first few tournaments where he really started taking attack combos into consideration. I'm no expert, but yeah. It seems like that's what started his attack type reign. Although he's always just really good with defense and attack. I mean, defense and stamina combos. So yeah, watch out. If you don't think you've practiced enough, then you haven't practiced enough. So skill-based combos might not be your thing yet. And finally, the last component or principle or rule when you're trying to make a good deck is specific combos. If you think you're going to see a specific kind of combo, then try to find a combo that can counter that combo. So I made this combo just randomly putting keep on Orbeezus. I'm like, hey, it's a good substitute for keep. I mean, for quest. It's like a KO defense driver, so is quest. So let's try it out. And it ended up working really well. But it's able to counter what used to be my signature combo, Josie Achilles double O proof destroy, which is a mixed attacker combo. This thing was just able to stand its ground perfectly. This also counters Extend Plus combos really well. Right spin Extend Plus. So like a stationary Extend Plus Josie Achilles or even Union Achilles now that it's out, those won't be able to counter my deck that easily when I'm using Orbeezus on keep. So it wasn't meant to be such a specific counter to Perfect Phoenix and basically anything on right spin at Extend Plus, but it works. This thing also counters Perfect Phoenix on Extend Plus, but gets countered by Perfect Phoenix on Atomic. But some other good examples of specific counters are like Zoe Bahamut, Sting Reboot or Reboot Dash, Metsu. This counters a lot of left spin stationary combos. This combo was, well, I mean, Wombat first discovered it as Zwei Fat. No. He first discovered it as Bloody Longinus Sting Reboot, but then it's kind of changed into Zwei Fafnir or Zwei Bahamut Sting Reboot or Reboot Dash with Metsu. So it's a good way to counter some left spin combos, but if you want it to be more of a broad like counter to a lot of things, then just go for Extreme Dash. At least if you have the skill to use Extreme Dash. If you don't, maybe start off with Quick Dash and then go to Extreme Dash once you're comfortable. But like specific counters can exist pretty much in every deck with the reboot thing. Also, if you are scared of right spin Atomic, then just go for this combo, because this combo can take it can just take on right spin Atomic pretty easily. It's also safer than using Wall against other left spin bays, because like not even this thing was able to burst this in like my most recent battle between them. But honestly, if you don't want to have a specific combo or counter, then you can just go with the team that you think can defeat the most amount of bays. So like the biggest spectrum of bays. So yeah, now that you pretty much heard me rant for, I think, longer than 10 minutes. I mean, it has to be longer than 10 minutes. I think you should probably get the point. Deck format battles are full of strategy. You might have some really good deck ideas just from what I've been saying. Like, you could have an Orb Aegis core like one of these two, which I really love Orb Aegis, just as an overall good bay. You might have a really risky but good combo that you build your team around. And maybe have a full risky team, but all of them can still help each other out. And maybe there are one or two openings that your opponent can exploit, but no team is perfect. I always like to think of the most competitive things when making a team. So this thing can beat Judgment and Sway, and if you want to go for a Lord attack combo, then yeah, this thing can pretty much just wall it out. It can also beat Perfect Phoenix on Extend Plus, also on Atomic. Then this thing can cover some of the options that might accidentally outspin this. It can also take a beating from Judgment. And this is just to make sure that you have all your bases covered. But you might want to switch this around, and then boom, you have a bigger bay that can probably take more of an onslaught from right spin Beyblades. But yeah, all that is up to preference. My preference is using maybe one Extend Plus combo. So I would say this to outspin left, this to beat almost everything in right spin, and this to fill in the gaps. Of course, I just made that team right now, but honestly, it's a really good team. No parts have been repeated. And honestly, I just love the deck format so much. I think about it a lot before going to tournaments. And then when I go to a tournament, I'm just like, bam, I know exactly what to throw out. Sometimes it's not the best thing, but at least I do pretty well in deck format. At least lately. The last 2 times, I think. I don't know. First time that I went to deck format, I did awesome. This last time, I also did pretty well. So yeah, I hope I get to go to finals more often in tournaments so I can test out my decks against other bladers. So yeah, for some reason my camera just turned off right before I was gonna film the outro. So here it is. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and slice that like button. Also, comment down below if you need any help building a deck, or just comment a deck below and then I'll see how good it is, or I'll just tell you how good I think it is. But if you need help and I might not be able to just respond immediately, if you really need help and you want someone else's opinion, like multiple people's opinions, then go to the WBO. There's a thread called Build Me a Deck #2. So if you go there, someone is bound to help you out. Also, share this video with your friend, I guess. Well, multiple friends if you have multiple friends that like Beyblade. Or just with a random person on Discord. I don't know. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and see you all next time.